Greetings, Earthlings. My name is Sumit Chatterjee, back with another video, Multidimensional March, day 5. Today I woke up at 5:55 a.m. this morning, and I was like, what? This is a strange occurrence. Last night I went out to party, and today I feel actually more grounded than I think I would have felt, right? I would have felt hungover, I would have felt like bad, but I actually feel pretty decent because I know how to get myself in the zone, and I'm proud to say that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm actually proud to say that I know how to get myself out of a slump or a negative state or a very low state very quickly nowadays, and I'm enjoying that. You know, I'm enjoying that factor, and I really started to understand last night the power of how our inner world creates our external or outer world. Okay, and I immediately started to notice as I go out in public, I'm very much so an empath, so I do absorb a lot of people's energies. I was feeling a lot of people's like toxic energies in that environment. What I immediately did is went to the restroom, you know, freshened up, washed my hands, splashed water on my face. I locked the restroom door. I did some power posing, did some silent screaming. I did some tapping, meridian exercise. I just started to release any tension from my body. No one's knowing that this is going on, all in silence, right? Someone thinks that I'm taking a dump when I'm actually doing this stuff, right? And then I went back into the venue and I felt immediately a shift. A shift not in the environment, but within myself. Okay? And the same thing happened. Remember when I told you last time when I went out, right? And they let me in. And they let someone else not in to the club. They let me in again, okay? I was dressed pretty casual, formal, in a sense. I had like a blazer on. But in a sense, I think that it was very interesting to notice the social dynamics of this environment. There are a lot of paid people who are there just to take photos and stuff like that, I could tell. But also, when I was out, I was noticing that these bouncers would like move me away from the dance floor, okay, as I was dancing. Now this would mess with my internal world, okay? It would mess with my internal world because I just didn't know the reason. And my mind was trying to find a reason as why is this guy being such a dick, right? Then I noticed he did it to someone else. And this thing was just bothering me in the night, you know, like what? I'm being mistreated and I'm not saying anything. So I actually confronted him. I was like, Keno, which means why, right, in Bengali. Why should I? He said something very softly. I said, why? I don't understand. I don't hear you. Said something again very softly. He's a bouncer, right? So he speaks like mumbling, right? I'd ask him a third time. So this is something called parroting, right? This technique. Parroting is what public speakers do when the audience won't shut up, right? When everyone's talking, you say the same sentence like a parrot at least 3 times so people shut up. You don't have to actually tell, all right, everybody be quiet now. All right, let's get back into it. After the exercise, right? Everyone's talking with each other. The room is super loud. All right, everybody, let's wrap it up. Okay, you're not doing that. You're just saying the statement. When you guys realize, okay, they're still talking a little bit of whispers, hushes. When you guys realize, everyone will. Now they're hearing, what does this person have to say, right? The building of anticipation is something that I want you to pay attention to. So I was out, right? I asked this guy why. He said that only couples are there to dance in the middle. The rest of the people are meant to dance on the sides, okay? I told him, what if I want to, be in a couple? He laughed. And then I changed the energy up. When I was feeling frustrated in that moment, I was still in my head. I was still speculating, right? Going on these mental guessing games. rather than knowing the truth. And this is what happens to us a lot in social environments. We're afraid of that confrontation. We're afraid of that ability to confront someone and meet them with our authenticity, truth, pureness, and free will. Okay? You know, Osho said something very powerful. Okay? He said, nobody, and I'm paraphrasing here, but nobody can, first of all, there must be acceptance for me to be humiliated. I cannot just be humiliated, right? It's like, you got to give me consent for me to feel humiliated, right? It's like that kind of mentality. And I really resonate with that, you know what I mean? And just understanding that, yes, we are seeing our lives, you know, through our eyes. We're envisioning it. We're seeing the outer world. And to express yourself as something very extroverted. But I started to understand the power of shifting my internal nature to shift the external world. So what did I focus on? I focused on feeling good. I almost made it like a yogic practice of looking within and then seeing where there are any discrepancies or where I'm not feeling so good. Then I asked myself this question. If I was acting in a movie scene right now, this is TPM, going back to my book, right? Applying the own tech from my own book in my own life. I asked myself, what would the character, if I was in a movie, how would I behave? If I was like just the dopest character, I would respect them. They're admirable. They're cool, you know? They move around with ease. I just said I wouldn't overdo it at first. I would just observe the environment, kind of silently bob my head to the music and tap my foot. And so that's what I started to do. I trusted in the guidance of my movie system of my life, okay? Where if a reality show crew was following me around, it would be lit, okay? And I understand that mechanism now of being watched and how that changes you, right? It changes your persona. It changes who you are, knowing that there's a camera, knowing that there is something there, okay? Peering into the edge of the future is what dopamine is all about, okay? Dopamine, tattoo right here, dopamine, okay? Of course, there's the seal of quintessence. Okay, it's a very complex tattoo. I actually designed it myself. But yeah, dopamine hacking, okay? Telling yourself things like, let's say you have bad habits, right? Social media, video games, excessive overeating, porn use, whatever it is, right? We have these vices and bad habits. I understand I have some of these vices because my mind works very rapidly and fast. It's like filled with too many things. And the vice, like let's say I drink a little bit, it gets me into that. It embodies me, right? Instead of being in my mind so much. And then I realized that, wait a second, this is going again back to my bioenergetic archetype, the schizoid archetype, okay? And I'm really starting to delve into that once again because I notice it show up in a lot of my clients, this kind of stuff. And you know, the issues that I'm having with me, or little issues or little discrepancies that I'm having with me, I notice it show up in my clients week after week after week until I transmute it. And then I'm able to actually help the clients through that process. It's very bizarre, right? It's almost like I'm going into their belief system and I'm learning to trust their internal world. It's like learning about a country when you don't know anything about it and you're new there, right? It's like that. It's that fascination and curiosity of wanting to know another person and delving into their inner world. Because nobody really shares what's in their inner world, okay? There could be a lot of darkness there for you right now. It doesn't feel like Shangri-La. It doesn't feel like, you know, Shambhala. It feels like a dangerous neighborhood where you have to hide. It feels like there could be landmines going off in your internal world, okay? Now, when it does not feel safe and secure, your internal world, you're going to seek that safety and security in the external world. okay, oftentimes. So we'll try to do this thing to compensate for the internal feeling, okay, that maybe we're not getting. It's not the fact that you want to keep chasing more, okay, because dopamine actually makes us chase. It makes us want more, okay? It's never satisfied in a sense, but it is the satisfaction giver, okay, in a sense, because pattern interrupts, if you didn't know, actually creates more dopamine, okay? Pattern interrupts create something that we call, what was it called? Reward. It's like a reward error of prediction, right? A reward prediction error, you'd call it. And that creates dopamine, okay? When you can't, like, there's this feeling of surprise, like, whoa, was not expecting that, okay? Even that creates dopamine. So oftentimes, you know, to dopamine hack, you would tell yourself things like, let's say you get an urge to eat lots of candy. You tell yourself, you know, I'm so glad that this urge that I'm getting for eating candy is reminding me that junk food is so much better in moments where I feel low. And you're justifying it to yourself, but then you're also creating the anticipation reward, right, for it. So as within, so without, you know, I have a right to my own internal world. That's what you gotta tell yourself. This is like my own country. And if it's my own country, I have borders and boundaries, yes. I have certain legislations and rules. You know, it was funny because my dad was ordering from a restaurant yesterday. He was like, oh yeah, some people are coming over. You wanna help me order? Right, let's see what we got. We're looking at Indian food. Well, we are in India, you know what I mean? So, looking at Indian food, and I said, well, this place is called India Restaurant, right? So I told him, yo, this food has gotta be good. Because if you're calling yourself and representing this country, it's gotta be like some bomb-ass food, right? It's gotta be some epic tandoori chicken or like some dal that just like hits, you know? Like just at a right level where you're just like, right? But anyway, I'm just telling him that it's gotta be good because it's called India, you know what I mean? And we're here, so if India restaurant's not doing too well, it's gonna make us look bad. And they don't wanna look at the reputation factor here, okay? Everybody's trying to keep this social veneer alive, right? Everywhere you go. And it's not about going into your internal world and being so nitpicky around the internal world. Like, oh, why do I do this? What's wrong with me, right? Instead, you want to have much more of a caring frame of reality in terms of your internal world, because you've been through so much, man. You know? You've really pushed yourself, and I bet you've been through a bunch of stuff in your life that's difficult to deal with. Oftentimes, there are things that we go through that are not excellent, right? They're not like qualities where you'd be like, oh yeah, that's so admirable, man. You'd be like, ew, what is this person doing, right? And that self-defeating quality within yourself, you know, really naggy people, they're unhappy with themselves, okay? Really people who like complain, criticize, you know, and they're not feeling too good about themselves. They're stressed out. Okay, they want reality to be predictable and control the way that it looks for them. And so anything outside of that reality, they get insecure. They get doubtful. You know, when you're winning in life, you're gonna get people challenging you, you know? Last night, when I was being alpha or sigma or whatever you wanna call it, put a label on me, stick it on me, right? Alpha male, walking through the vent, you know? An alpha doesn't really need to say that he's alpha, you know what I mean? Like, fuck the label for a second and just listen. When I was going through the environment in that leader-esque quality, I was getting challenged. Okay? I was getting people coming up to me, respecting me for no reason, other than the fact that my vibe was impeccable. Okay? Delicious. Something that you want to partake in, like a buffet. Like, what is that guy having? Right? Remember that scene from Harry Met Sally, right? I'll have what she's having, right? This is so powerful because you've got to love the structure of not only your own mind, but of another's mind. How people organize themselves in their minds tells you a lot about their character and their personality. I've said this on the channel before. Your personality becomes your personal reality, what Dr. Joe Dispenza said, but also your personality becomes your survival strategy. Okay, this is from a book called, I believe it's called Change Who We Are, if I remember correctly. Now, Kuhn, speaking about Kuhn, there's a girl whose last name was Kuhn. I think you know who you are if you're watching this video right now. Girl, you used to be like a devout disciple of mine. Okay? Used to follow all my posts, used to ask me for advice, and now as soon as this person, okay, get someone in their life, they disappear. Boom. This is most people. They can't maintain one relationship and friendships with others. They make their whole life around one relationship. And that's what we've been taught. You get it? That's what we've been taught from a young age. Is that this one person will solve everything. Okay? That one person is you, bro, that's gonna solve everything. Or sis. Right? Or chicas, maybe some of you are attracted to me. I don't want to give you the label of cis if you're like, yo, I want to bang this dude on YouTube, I just realized that right now. Like, how in the UK they say fam? I don't like that, man. You know what I mean? Seems like incest. Okay. Hey there, fam. Okay, like really masculine, girls who you're like using like 700 hand gestures to communicate with me. Hold on a second. Let me tap into my Shiva essence so your Kali chaotic energy can just chill for a second, right? Hold on a second. Let me finish speaking. Okay, that's that quality. Excuse me. Hold on a second. Let me actually finish what I was saying. Okay. So it's not outside in, it's like that Disney movie Inside Out, right? And if we had all our emotions outside of us, like these personalizations, and anger was like this dude, right? And by the way, anger is a very interesting topic because that Benson meme that I posted, I think maybe some of you know what I'm talking about. The episode is called Think Positive too, okay, of the regular show, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Where, Benson, who's like basically a gumball machine type dude, and the comments are hilarious on this that I'm noticing. A lot of people are like, Florida man, gets angry based on this or something like that. And like just very funny comments that you guys leave. But I understand how, so the caption was, when I transmute my rage into Super Saiyan productivity, right? And what I mean by that is like, when you can transmute your anger or your rage towards something, where you can be like, whoa, this is gonna really help me. This is epic. This is actually going to be beneficial to me, right? And I realize that I am going to basically understand the power of my pain-pleasure principle. So, mild pleasure, a little mini pain, right? You have, so actually it goes like this. Pleasure, mild pain. Pain, mild pleasure in the background. It's like a radiator hum of what's happening afterwards, right? So, you know, a lot of times if you're binge watching one series and you're like, man, I'm not interested in this show. This show, I've seen it so many times. I know what's going to happen. It sucks, right? You wait a week, you wait 2 weeks, you watch it again, you're going to find something new. You're going to be interested in it again. Why is that? Because your mind seeks novelty. It wants to go there, okay? Your mind is like a runway for you to take off. But guess what you need for that to happen first? In order to enlighten, elevate, higher consciousness, right? Tranquility, okay? Equanimity, tranquility, serenity, bliss, feeling peace, feeling blissfulness, feeling ease, right? Just feeling, If you guys don't know it, let me remind you, I'm constantly releasing, okay? Purging what does not belong in my system. So maybe I'll cut my nails, okay? Maybe I'll cough out like some gunk. Maybe I will yawn. Maybe I'll burp. Maybe I have flatulence, I have empty stomach. Whatever it is. That's my body's mechanism. That's my body's system of whatever is happening. But we look at it as, oh, fart jokes. Bro, it's your body's mechanism. You get that? And that's dorky. That's kind of weird to think about, right? Like, why are you talking about farts, bro? Like, I'm talking about it because we can't sit here and be like, you know, that's cool, right? When you're comfortable, like, farting around your partner and burping around your partner, I don't like that shit, you know what I mean? Like, that could be for you. I think that's way too comfortable, and that's my own value, right? Like, I used to be way too comfortable in my relationship, you know, go to the bathroom in front of the other person, and that, you know, there's a depth, there's a quality of that, but it also becomes a little bit like, ew, bro, like, what? No, that's a personal time, you know, for a person. And it's almost like you're invading that person's inner world, right? When you're tapping into their privacy and wanting to know everything about them, it shows an insecurity in you, or it might be perceived in that sense. So actually, you know, if you can make it acceptable for you to have a space that is completely your own, where there's nobody else looking at you, pointing fingers, judging you, an empty, alone room, just a solace, okay? A man cave, a woman cave, just somewhere where you can sit and replenish, somewhere where you can sit and tap into that internal oneness and that infinite beingness that you have, okay? Flow mistake. I've told you guys, right, about the 5-day matches into dates challenge that's coming up. We might change the date though. We might change the date though, you know? We might change the date though to, I think we're gonna go either end of this month or April, because I think it's too early still to do this challenge. There needs to be a little bit more reconfiguring certain things, you know? You know, I've been learning a lot of interesting things around Buddhism because I've been taking part in these meditation talks by my dad. And I really want to get into the Buddhahood within, you know, the Buddha within state of mind. And I understand that man, as Kuhn said, oh, that's what Kuhn was reminding me of, right? Kuhn said that man is a god in the body of an animal. So, you know, we are these priest beasts. That's what that quote really emphasizes, that we're priest beasts. And this is an archetype, by the way, if you're watching me for the first time, where we understand that this is what men need. We need to be tapped into the spiritual side. We also need to be tapped into our raw, dark masculinity side. Okay, the light and the dark. We need it both. Same for girls, okay? You need that side of you, that's the Sophia, the radiant goddess, that can actually hold space and heal disconnected men all over the planet. You realize your feminine radiance and essence and eros can heal the planet, but it's being sublimated, it's being transmuted in a weird way. That's why sex work and all these different things are happening at such a grand scale. Do you realize that? The men can't hold their presence, that they're being living such stressed out lives at work that when they go home, they're like, oh yeah, they can't even get it up, bro. Right? They're burnt out. They're fizzled out. They're not tapped into their divine masculine essence, that purpose that you have within you, right? As a man, to show up. It's not the whole, stereotypical, I'm bringing home the bread, baby, okay? I'm bringing home my yang essence. I'm bringing home that reminder of safety. Daddy's home, okay? Feel safe. Okay? It's that big daddy energy. Again, it's that dad frame. It's the feeling of, I've got this. Don't worry, son. Let's say I'm speaking to my daughter. I understand you're really frustrated right now. And maybe we can have this conversation where you're a lot more calm. But I know you didn't mean that when you said that, okay? I know you're just frustrated right now. What is that? That's a different level of communication. But why can't you use that communication to a person that you're in a relationship with, right? That you're dating. They're looking for that safety like that. Right? Like the father gives to a daughter. I don't want you to think of it this weird incest way, right? That's your own internal world again coming in and skewing this weird thing into this metaphor or analogy that I'm giving, right? Like, honestly, if you take away the ickiness, the muckiness, the nastiness, the dirtiness, that feeling of like, this is not right, then you release a lot of tension. You see, tolerance is linked to patience, which is sustained by respect and consideration. Okay? And your perception redrafts your biochemistry. So when you can tap into that internal essence of you feeling like a god, transcending the animal, the basal, the lower, going into that sense of that state of awareness that's much more higher up. We have something called peripersonal space, which is looking down, like you have your pen, your notebook, your laptop, whatever it is, you're looking at your hands, right? You have your own personal space, peripersonal. Then you have another personal space, okay? You have two types. Your inner world, outer world. This is pretty much outer world, but it's more so peripersonal, right? It's like your little bubble. When you're looking up, you're tapping into visualization, your visions, right? They've tested this through NLP as well, right? The eye movements mean different things. So this is auditory, left and right. Okay, what you heard, tapping into hearing something in your mind. When you're looking down, you're feeling. So your peripersonal space is associated with your feeling. Whereas the extrapersonal space, or looking up, is associated with your vision. So when you're manifesting, you're feeling your vision. So what if you close your eyes and just looked up and down as you're trying to manifest? Did I just come up with some new technique, like right on the spot? Man. You see, this is what happens when you're in the zone. You just invent something on the spot like that. Have you guys considered this? Because I just put two things together randomly in my mind, right? I didn't think that I would be able to connect these two things. But you know what? I'm glad I did. So this dopamine hacking of you going, you're about to have this urge to play League of Legends or whatever. You go, I'm getting this urge to play League of Legends, but I'd rather focus on my work right now, which will get me to show up a lot stronger in school, right? Girls will like me more because I'll be sharper in my delivery. I will actually be able to recreate the conditions. And this is what I was attending the Beast lecture last night, the Gathering, right? The advanced lecture. And something was brought up in terms of patterns and conditions, right? So AZD was pointing out, like, if you are in an exam hall, right? In the exam hall, there's a specific condition. How cold the AC is in the room. Okay, it has like a drone of like an air conditioner. But when you're sitting down to study, you don't have those same conditions. So if you're studying, like drinking a glass of wine, lighting some incense, playing all this lo-fi music, doing it like that, you're not going to be able to tap into the same material unless you bring like an incense and a glass of wine into the exam hall, which you can't. You get what I mean? So the state, the pattern, or the condition that you've created as you're repping will create the same condition when you get into the exam hall. So that means you do it somewhere where there's no distraction. You do it like in a library or somewhere where the air conditioning is similar to the exam hall and the conditions are more similar. Now your work output is better, right? Why? Because we're all a product of our patterns. And again, a pattern interrupt can create dopamine, right? The novelty aspect of things. So why? Just shock yourself into awakening. Shock yourself into enlightenment. Okay? Just be like, do something completely abstract and random, right? Because the abstraction goes into what I was saying in terms of the vision or the extrapersonal space. The more concrete things are in the real world, out here, right? Things that you can physically touch. But yourself is independent of anything physical. Okay? The self is actually this thing that is, almost we imagine it like this floating consciousness or this pure awareness. Stress agitates us to move towards something or away from something. And that is what we feel as negative emotions within the body, the fear-based system. So now when you're getting this understanding that I'm running away from this thing, what if I don't run? I'm moving to this thing. What if I, gave myself a little bit of moderation as I'm just trying to, blitzkrieg into that? There's certain cues and rules if you give yourself, like I had these when I was going out, ordered a drink, held the drink in my hands to feel the temperature of the drink. I was tapping my foot to the music. I gave the bouncer a fist bump as I was going in. I noticed that I asked for like an extra shot or something like this. And they were like, oh yeah, it's the same price or something like that, they told me. And I said, oh, no, you see, now I know your secret, okay? That this is what you're doing. All right, guys, so it's past 33. It's now going into 33:40. And so I'm gonna end this video because I also have clients waiting for me, okay? So have an incredible day. Hope you enjoyed this video. Share it with a friend, like it, subscribe to these understandings. Really feel good about yourself and really understand that this is a subtle art. Okay, you're going into the subtle dimensions. Okay, so you won't be able to perceive everything clearly right away. It's a slow unlayering and the cloak coming down. Okay, seeing the Maya, seeing the Mara, or the illusion that is out there, and just pulling the curtains down, pulling the fluff, the cotton wool from your ears, and becoming a sense organ machine, powerful creator. Power is something that you have a choice in choosing, okay? When you're choosing something, you're being cause, you're going forward, okay? You're being excellent, you're being eccentric. You're being eclectic. Let's get it. Upward spiral gang. May we never be the same again. Us.